During this video, we'll cover a basic setup for a logon. Once you're done with this process, you'll have a good environment for testing and getting familiar with FastTrack Automation Studio. Once we have FastTrack installed and GPO configured, let's go through a basic logon setup that we would recommend. In the general area, we'd recommend that you go ahead and select Take Hardware and Software Inventory. This is a free portal account that you get with the software, and it will collect hardware and inventory in your environment that you can access and report on via your logon credentials. We'd also recommend that you use the backup configuration to your cloud account. This will back up your FastTrack files to your portal account. We keep up to a year of backups for your retrieval. Next, let's go ahead and set up some branding. So we'll change the company name to a generic name. And I'm also going to go ahead and put in a generic logo. And at any time, you can go ahead and preview what those results will look like. And as far as the general area is concerned, this is as far as we would go with a basic logon setup. So now let's move to the logging area and set up our log files. We want to go ahead and set up for error logging. Now we want this to be a path on our network that all logged on users can write to. So I've gone ahead and put this out to my common share, and we'll give it a name for errors. And then also for our logon records, again, I'm going to put it out to our common share, and we'll give it a name of logons. So configuring your log files is as simple as that. If you go ahead and hit save, now you've updated the environment, and we'll begin logging that information. Next, we want to move to the connectivity area. In here, I would recommend just making the setting for the desktop icon. What this does is it will put a shortcut on the desktop that would allow a test user to rerun the logon process without actually having to log off and log on again. So I go ahead and set this to all computers. So this is very convenient when you're in the development stage and you're testing the various settings that you're making with either a single user or a small set of users or even a virtual machine. Next, let's look at the launch conditions. In launch conditions, these would be situations in which, if not met, the left side will not run, so anything you've configured will exit. We recommend you uncheck servers so that the logon process is not running on any of your servers. Next, let's define some user shares. I'm not going to make any changes to the settings on the top, and I'm going to go ahead and add a UNC path. The first path I want to add is a common share for all my users. Now you can type in that path or you can browse to it, so I'll go ahead and browse. I'm going to define the name, and if the path has any security settings on it, you can go ahead and set that here. Next, we're asking if there's an Active Directory security policy for this share, and there isn't because I want all users to get it, so I'm just going to say OK. I'll save that, which will update the environment automatically. Let's set one more UNC path with an Active Directory security policy. This will be my sales group. So I'm going to go ahead and map that out to my sales share. Give it a name. No credentials, so our next step is to set the Active Directory security policy, which is anybody who's a member of sales should get this share. And that's it. Now I have two UNC paths set, one for all users and one for sales users. You'll notice as this builds over time, as this becomes more complex, you can sort by the columns and so forth, so it's easy to keep things organized and understand what you've programmed. Next, let's map some UNC printers. Now, first tab here is menu-based printing. We'll actually cover that in a separate video. Let's go to rules-based printing, and we're going to go ahead and add a UNC-based printer. So same concept as shares. We can go ahead and browse to our printer. So I want to give everybody the universal printer. I'll select that. I can set it as default if I want to, and then again we're going to ask, are there any Active Directory security policies? If there are, you can go ahead and set that, whether they're user, computer, or OS-based conditions. You'll find this feature throughout the product. Now for the universal printer, I want everybody to get this printer, so I'm not going to set any, and I'll go ahead and say OK. Thank you for watching this video on a basic logon setup. Come back to our website for other videos on different features of FastTrack Automation Studio.